Good morning. Welcome to Solo Sundays with the Gehenna Gaming Group. My name is Lauren, and this morning I will be featuring a solo teach with Harmonies. Harmonies is a game where you are collecting animals and building habitats for those animals to live in. Going into the game, we start with this player board and these tiles. Each tile represents a different type of habitat. We have leaves and trees. We have rocks which turn into mountains, fields, bricks that turn into houses, and water that turns into rivers. Each different habitat scores differently. Our trees, you can have one stump with leaves on top, or you can have two stumps with leaves on top. Those are our trees. You can also just have leaves on the ground. Some of the animals do want just leaves as their part of their habitat. Our next habitat style is mountains or rocks. We have singular rocks, we have double rocks, and we have triple rocks. Rocks want to score next to each other. So on the board, you want them next to each other to score. You can have two doubles next to each other, a single next to a triple, any combination of all of those as long as they are next to each other. Our next habitat type is fields, and they want to be in at least groups of two. So a group of two scores 5 points. A group of one does not score at all. A group of three also only scores 5 points. And then our next habitat is houses. Houses can be built with bricks. Bricks can be built on top of each other. Bricks can also be built on top of wood or stone. They want to have different colors around them to score. So house can have a tree, a part of the river, and some plains to score. They also could have another house next to them. Those score as they are separate pieces. And then our last habitat we score is our river. Rivers are longest, but they don't turn back on themselves. This river right here would only count as 2 pieces, but if I shifted it like this, that would count as 3. And the more pieces you have, the more tiles you have, the longer your river is, and the more points you will score. Next, moving on to our animals, we have these animal cards. And once you have collected an animal card, we also have these pieces here, and they are going to fill the card to designate how many points you have scored. As of right now, this card has not scored any points. Here you can see the type of habitat that this animal wants. This alligator wants a 2-stump tree with 2 river pieces going out from it, and then it wants to live on the river piece. When you have created a habitat like this, you will take your square and you will put it on that river piece, designating that that animal has been placed in that habitat. The more habitats that you build like that, the more squares you will put on your board, and the more points you will score.
Will you show what that looks like on the actual?
Yes.
I will blow that up so everyone can see.
So this particular card, will it?
Yep, you're good.
Okay.
Yep, I can control it.
To build this habitat, you need a tree with 2 stumps and leaves, and then 2 pieces, or 2 tiles of water, and then your alligator would go right here. You also can create, using this same tree, another river piece and it would create, so if I had another water here, I could put another alligator there. And this would also create another habitat, then scoring more points. So that is how animals work, and all the different habitats score. You can place your tiles anywhere on the board. They do not have to be adjacent to each other when being placed. Next, we're going to move on to how we get our tiles to put on the board. Everything starts in this canvas bag, and I will pull out 3 tiles at a time without looking at them. And I will place them on this board here. And this looks a little bit different. Solo mode is a little bit different than when you're playing with others. And I will place 3 different tiles on each circle. Once I have filled all 3 circles, I am going to choose one of these 3 to place on my board. Let's say I want to choose these here. I would take those, and once I have placed those 3 tiles, the rest of the 6 are going to go back into the bag. That is another difference when playing solo. And again, we fill 3 in each circle, and then choose again. And you clear, each time you've chosen your 3 tiles, you clear the other 6 off the board and completely reset the board. A complete turn is choosing 3 tiles, and you can choose an animal. You do not have to. If you do not choose an animal, so we have these 3 animals here. If I choose not to choose one of the animals, I can reset the board or reset the animal line by choosing one. Let's say I don't want to make the alligator. I would take the alligator away, and I would then place another animal out. That is another difference from a regular game to solo mode. So these are now the 3 cards that I have to choose from. And then moving from there, we can go into a turn. So I start with my 3 sets of tokens, and I will choose one. I'm going to choose these 2 bricks, and I'm going to turn them into a house. And on my board, I'm going to choose to place them. I am going to choose to place them where I can also place other tokens around them, because to score, they need to have 3 other color tokens around them. And then I'm going to choose to put my leaves next to those. Of my 3 animals that I have to choose from, I am going to choose the bee. And I will place my 2 tokens on the bee card. And then my bee card is going to go up here at the top where I have my little paw prints on my board. So that is what the board looks like after 1 turn. I will reset by pulling out another card onto my animal cards, and then resetting my tiles on my tile board. And again, we put 3 on each circle on the board without looking at them. And then we choose. So I have my bee. This time I want to look at the animals and see where I want to go. My B wants a tree and 3 fields. So maybe I want to choose an animal that wants fields, if they have them, because this animal, the bee, wants to go on the tree, but it wants the fields surrounding it. If I have the option to take a card where the animal wants to be in the fields, that might be a good strategy for me to consider. The cards that I have to choose from, unfortunately, do not allow me to choose that. However, I have these prairie dogs here that we have fields, and then we have a singular mountain. And I'm going to choose this card because I can place my mountains next to my field tokens that are already there for the bee. So I'm going to choose that card, and I'm going to place my tokens on there, my scoring tokens. And then I'm going to choose my tiles. This time I'm going to choose the 2 rivers and the mountain. And I am going to place these here on my board. And that is how I have taken my second turn. Now, at the end of the game, so this is 2 turns. At the end of the game, scoring is a little bit different. You're still going to add everything up like you would using the score pad. And then you get points based on how many points you got.
I'm gonna zoom into that real quick, just so I can see it.
So here, let's say,
Little box, right?
yep,
All right, good. Zoomed in, go ahead.
let's say I got 110 points, so I would get 4 suns. I use the A side of the board, that gives me another sun, and then I didn't use any of the nature spirits, that would give me 2 more suns. So we have 4 plus 1 plus 2, which is 7. And then from there, you're just collecting your suns, and you're trying to get the most suns that you possibly can. So some things that affect your sun count are using the B side of the board, which I did not show today, and then using the nature spirit cards, which I also did not show today. But the higher score that you can get, the more suns, and then depending on these other factors, the more suns you score, the better you do. And with solo mode, you're just trying to beat your best score. So this is Harmonies. Thank you for joining me this morning, and I hope you enjoy.